Hey everyone, let's talk about the show that seemingly knows everything before it happens. At this point, The Simpsons' reputation for predicting the future isn't just a meme, it's a cultural phenomenon. We've seen it all: the 9/11 attacks, the 2020 global pandemic, and of course, that now legendary 2000 episode that called Donald Trump's presidency years before it was a political reality. But lately, the internet sleuths have been digging into something much darker. There's a buzz growing around a specific theory involving Jeffrey Epstein's private island. People are asking, did the writers at Springfield actually foreshadow one of the biggest scandals in modern history? Or is this just another case of the internet connecting dots that aren't really there? Today, we're going to separate the eerie coincidences from the absolute fabrications and look at why the show's crystal ball keeps everyone talking. The Mr. X headline. If you thought the Trump prediction was wild, you need to revisit season 12, specifically an episode from the year 2000 called The Computer Wore Menace Shoes. In this classic storyline, Homer Simpson discovers the power of the internet and starts a gossip site under the alias Mr. X. At first, Homer is just leaking local Springfield secrets, but when he runs out of real dirt, he starts making up total nonsense just to keep his click count high. One of those fake headlines he writes has sent shockwaves through social media recently. The line reads, "Attention, some crazy creeps on an island somewhere are secretly running the world." When you hear that today, it's hard not to think of Little St. James, Epstein's private island, and the allegations of global elites meeting there in secret. Naturally, TikTok and X have gone into overdrive, claiming this is proof that the writers knew about the island decades ago. But we have to ask, was it a prophecy or was it just sharp satire? In the late 90s, New World Order and secret island conspiracy theories were already a staple of late-night radio and fringe tabloids. The writers were likely poking fun at the paranoia of the time, not knowing that reality would eventually catch up to the satire in such a high-profile way. The Matt Groening connection. Now here is where things move from spooky coincidence to actual legal documents. This isn't a fan theory, it's in the files. Back in 2015, court documents were unsealed involving Virginia Giuffre, one of the primary whistleblowers in the Epstein case. In her deposition, she claimed she met the Simpsons creator, Matt Groening, on Epstein's private jet, the infamous Lolita Express. According to the documents, Giuffre alleged she was told to give the Simpsons creator a foot massage during a flight. This mention is often used by conspiracy theorists as smoking gun evidence that the show's creator was part of the inner circle. However, it is crucial to stay grounded in the facts here. While his name appears in the logs, there has never been any evidence, charge, or even a suggestion that Groening was involved in Epstein's actual crimes. Being in the orbit of a socialite who turned out to be a predator is a far cry from being a co-conspirator. It's more likely a reflection of how deeply Epstein had embedded himself into the world of Hollywood and high society, a world the Simpsons writers have been satirizing for over 30 years. The dark side of the predicted it meme. While we love a good mystery, we have to talk about the Simpsons predictions phenomenon's darker side. Tom Percival, a seasoned TV editor, recently shared his unmitigated loathing for these memes, and he makes a fair point. What started as spooky fun has mutated into something a bit more cynical. Because the show is so famous for being right, people have started forcing it to be right. We've seen a massive rise in fake predictions. These are images that have been digitally altered or even generated by AI to look like old Simpsons frames. Remember the viral image of the Epstein Island sign in Springfield? Totally fake. Or the one claiming the show predicted the death of George Floyd. That was a manipulated image from an episode that had nothing to do with the event. Taking a real-world tragedy and trying to link it to a cartoon for likes is where the fun stops. It's a reminder that while the show is brilliant, the internet's obsession with it can lead to massive misinformation. If you see a screenshot that looks too perfect, it probably is. The math of coincidence. So how do they keep doing it? Is it magic? Time travel? Former Former showrunner Al Jean has a much more grounded explanation. He told NME that it really comes down to two things: good luck and the law of averages. Think about it this way. The Simpsons has over 750 episodes. If you throw enough darts at a board, you're eventually going to hit the bullseye. As Al Jean put it, quoting one of his writers, if you write 700 episodes and you don't predict anything, then you're pretty bad. The writers are also incredibly well educated. Many of them come from Harvard or other elite backgrounds with interests in math, science, and politics. They aren't psychics. They're just very good at looking at current trends and imagining the most absurd, logical conclusion. Sometimes, unfortunately, our world becomes just as absurd as a cartoon. The legacy of Mr. X. In the end, whether it's Homer writing as Mr. X or Matt Groening appearing in a flight log, the fascination with The Simpsons and the Epstein files says more about us than it does about the show. We live in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, so we look for patterns. We want to believe that someone, somewhere, even if it's just a room of comedy writers in California, knew what was coming. The crystal ball of Springfield will likely keep growing with every new headline, but as we dive into these rabbit holes, it's important to keep one foot in reality. The show is a mirror of our world. Sometimes the mirror just catches a glimpse of the future before we're ready to see it. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Stay curious, but stay skeptical.